off your engine!
Hendazell says, I can't believe the new Ford Mustangs have Chinese transmissions. Well, not just the new ones. They've had them for quite some time. I had a customer years ago that bought one of the fancy Mustangs. This was 8-10 years ago, and she blew up 3 transmissions in that. And after the last one blew up, she called them up and said, take it away, I don't want the car. And they had to buy it back under the lemon law. Everybody's just going so cheap, and they just think, we can make them over there, it's not going to make any difference. Bite you right in the rear end. Mercedes for years was using Chinese made wiring harnesses. They had nothing but problems with them. These companies don't learn. They just think greed. We can charge as much as we can, and let's buy it as cheap as we can. The Chinese make it cheaper than anybody. Let's buy their stuff and use it. It bites their customers in the rear end. And a lot of companies are doing this. It's kind of bizarre that in their sports car that's their marquee vehicle, they're using the Chinese transmission in some of them. I mean, it's just, that's the way it goes these days. You know, everybody's trying to save a buck, and eventually they'll save all kinds of bucks because nobody will buy their cars and they won't have any money left. Riaz Von Bergu says, Scotty, I got a 2010 Suzuki SX4 all-wheel drive, 6-speed manual. Has an issue with the reverse gear, difficult to shift into. AAMCO's only offering a used transmission as a fix. Go someplace else. That shows what a crappy transmission place AAMCO is. They say they're transmission experts. Experts my rear end. They can't rebuild them. Those guys are just parts replacers half the time. If you want to get a transmission put in and you're going to use the used one, heck, call the junkyard yourself. Most junkyards will also install them for a lot less than AAMCO's going to charge you. As these people, they say they're mechanics in quotes. They're not mechanics. They just pretend to be. If they can't rebuild a transmission, they're not a transmission mechanic, you know? I don't rebuild automatic transmissions. I don't claim to be an automatic transmission expert, and I don't even try to rebuild them. I know guys who do. Cost thousands and thousands of dollars. If the customer's willing to spend it, I send them to an honorable guy. If not, I say, well, you want to gamble with a used one, go right ahead. And those guys, I mean, what a joke. If they say they're transmission experts and they're going to put a used one in, go someplace else. Grim Reaper says, Scotty, how do you feel about a 1983 GMC Sierra Classic 1500? Those were well-made vehicles. Now, I know some people can say, Scotty, you're a hypocrite. You said you hate GM. Yeah, the modern crap. Back in 93, they were building solid vehicles. I even had a customer, if you watched my video, bought a 99 Suburban from Seattle. From an old guy who had died. It was from an estate sale. It had like 43,000 original miles. That was one solid vehicle. No rust on it, solid, well-made. Back in the day, those things were well-made. Now, it's really old. I don't know how many miles it has on it. Everything eventually wears out with higher mileage, but it's all repairable. Parts are available for those things, too. It's not like they're hard to get parts for. The V8's rear ends, common for a lot of the GM and GMC products. So, you know, those are solid built ones if they've been taken care of. Not like the new crap that they make. Mark Foley says, hey, Scotty. Hi from New Brunswick, Canada. It's a RAV4 in 2015, 150,000 kilometer. I get a shudder only when I slow down from highway speed. If you're talking about only when you hit the brake, means your front rotors are warped. And that get a shudder because it starts shuddering from the rotors warped and the brakes start vibrating. Now, if you just take your foot off the gas and it shudders, it means your transmission's got a problem. They'll often do that with Toyotas as they age. When a trannies start to wear, when you decelerate, you get a shudder. We had a Celica like that. But, I mean, the thing was 25 years old when it started doing it, too. So, I mean, it got its money's worth out of the thing. Abdul Mughal says, Scotty, is it better to buy a used car or a new one? Well, if you like saving money, buy a used one. That's all I've ever bought. You save so much money. If you buy a brand new car, doesn't matter which kind it is. I had a customer buy a BMW last year. He hated the car and he traded it in when it was a year old, and they gave him 40% of what he paid for it originally. So that'll tell you they're not worth that much. You don't know any good mechanics like me. There's nothing wrong with buying a brand new Toyota Corolla or a brand new Honda Civic and then just drive it till the wheels fall off. You might get 400,000 miles out of it. So who cares then? But if you really like saving money, buy good used cars. Plenty of them, Japanese, Toyotas, Hondas, they might have 80% of their lifespan left, and you might only have to pay 20 or 30% of what the original sticker price is. To me, that's a win situation. Benjamin Rabanian says, Scotty, I got an 011 Lexus LS. Every time I stop the car, the whole car moves. The mechanic says it's the engine mount. What should I do? Well, if he's right, replace the engine mount. Rubber does break over time. And if you had an oil leak, the oil will get on it, and then it'll rot. Just have it checked. Get a second opinion, you never know. I mean, it's easy to check. I got a video how to replace engine mounts. All you got to do is get a piece of 2x4, put it on a jack, put that under the oil pan, jack it up. And if you see the engine raises up and the body doesn't immediately follow, you'll see the motor mounts are cracked. You'll see where the holes are. If the motor and the body goes up at the same time, they're not cracked, and he's wrong. Dan Dargy says, thoughts on a 2020 Honda Ridgeline RTLE? I was just telling about new versus used. I never buy a new car because I'm too cheap and I like saving money. The Honda Ridgelines are decent trucks. They're not the greatest ones out there, but by no means are they bad trucks. They got a decent V6 engine in them, got a reasonable amount of power. I got customers with them that are totally happy. Now, you're going to pay. They're very expensive. They're not giving those things away. Personally, I'd rather get a Toyota. I'm more of a Toyota man. But the Ridgelines are not bad vehicles. If you don't mind the price, and they are expensive, they're pretty well-built vehicles. They don't have any particular problems. Looks like Hebrew words. What do you think about seat? Well, I'm sitting on a seat right now, and I sit on a toilet seat a lot, too. Okay, seats, those are European cars. They don't sell them in the United States. But I got friends in England, and they drive them, and they love them. So, they're a lower-priced car, and then they seem to like them there. If you live in an area where you can get parts for them, where they don't cost much, and where mechanics know how to work on them, go right ahead. Like I said, I know people in England that love the cars. They don't sell them here, so I have absolutely no personal experience either working on them or driving them. James Self says, Scotty, is one brand of synthetic oil better than others? All right, there's laws for synthetic oils, but it's a very amorphous law that just says the oil has to be modified somehow. Some use steam, some use acid, some like that Pennzoil Pure Platinum. That's actually made from natural gas in an Arab country where they condense the gas and turn it into oil. It's very pure. So there's various degrees. Unfortunately, nobody tells you exactly what's in any of them. I've talked to oil company execs and they say, well, that's a patented oil formula. We're not going to tell anybody. So even I don't know what's in the things. And I just like castor oil because I've been using my whole life and don't have any engine problems. So why jump off a bus if the bus is running good, They're all pretty good, but there are differences. And you're never going to know, though, because nobody's going to tell you. They might say, we have more additives. And they'll say, okay, what kind and how many? And they'll never tell you because they won't even tell me. Marvin Senor says, Scotty, I'm looking to buy a pickup truck. Which should I buy, Toyota or Ford? Depends what you want. If you want a, mid-size, go and get a Toyota Tacoma. They can run forever. But if you want to pay less, get a Ford Ranger. And F-150s, they sell millions of those things. It's like 90% of Ford's profit. They make good big pickups. But if you're going to get one of those, get a V8. Don't get one of those stupid EcoBoost dual turbo GDI V6 engines. They don't last as long. Get a V8 one. If money's no object, get a Toyota Tundra. They're excellent trucks too, but they're extremely expensive. Florida Movie Guru says, any treatment for bad gas in the gas tank? There's plenty of treatments. Now, if you think you have water, you can just buy that dry gas, which is mainly ethanol, alcohol, which absorbs water and then it'll burn in the engine. Corroded particles and stuff, Chevron Techron is pretty good. Now, here's something you really got to realize, though. Take your fuel filter off. Cut it in half, look inside. If it's all dirty and rusty, you might have to either flush out the gas tank or replace the gas tank if it's a real old vehicle. Because no filter will filter pure rust particles. They're too small. And even though you'll see a bunch of rust in the filter, a bunch of it get by, it'll ruin the fuel injector. So if it's all dirty, you might have to either flush it or replace the gas tank, too. Realize that. Ken Richards says, what are your thoughts on a 2015 Chrysler 200 with 30,000 miles? Asking price of $3,200. All right, they don't make them anymore. That's after the Fiat Chrysler merger. Those are mainly Fiat. They have horrible engines. They have horrible transmissions. They're pieces of junk. It's only got 30,000 miles on it. I'd offer him $1,000 for it. See what the guy will go. If you like it and it still runs and shifts okay, it's worth that. But it's not worth $3,200. They don't make them anymore. They'll be getting harder to get parts for. Fiat is even talking that they might pull out of the United States. And they are all-around junky cars. I wouldn't pay more than $1,000 for that car. Lisa Powell says, what do you think of a Chevrolet Cavalier? Well, I have a very cavalier attitude about that. I think they're crap. I think they're ugly, too. I had a customer had what he thought was the most beautiful car on earth. And I looked at him like, yeah, I guess you have smoked a little bit too much of that. He'd smoke like 5-6 times a day. Thinking that a Cavalier was a good-looking car, I don't know. I thought they were ugly as could be. They weren't very good cars. I mean, they ran for a while, but they were front-wheel drive American cars, which were never that great to begin with, especially if they had the four-cylinder engines. They couldn't get out of their own way. If you can find a used one with lower mileage, get it for $500, $900, and it runs, what the heck, drive it around. But don't pay much for one. They have no resale value whatsoever, and they never will be collector's items. Frank Mayfield says, do you know any reputable mechanics in San Francisco? I don't know any reputable anyone in San Francisco. I was there, man. San Francisco's where they really had that 3-card Monte thing in the 1800s, the land of scam artists. And the last time I looked, there was a dealer in San Francisco, and it was charging $2 $140 per hour labor for working on Mercedes-Benzes there. I was there on a trip, and I just pulled in to take a look, and I couldn't stop laughing. Good luck trying to find one in the land of gold. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.